Hello folks, this is Johnny again, and today let's test out some DI qualities. So I recorded a few DIs using different devices. The first track I used the Pod HD Pro. Guitar just goes straight into the guitar input of that one, and I used the pod as interface. In the second one I went straight into the Scarlett 6i6, it's the first generation. And I turned on the pad because the signal was just way too hot. No matter how low I went, it would still clip. And even now it's still clipping. And then in the third one, I used the Radial Pro 48 DI box, which then goes into the interface. And here also I turned on the pad on the interface, not on the DI box, because it gives me a slightest bit better quality, even though I'm still clipping a little bit up here. I'll get into that a little bit more afterwards. So right now, let's just listen to the DIs. Okay, so those were just a couple of chords on the neck pickup with the coil being split, so basically a neck single coil. And now let's get into some riffage. Okay, and now let's check how all these inputs respond to short, hard pick attacks. Now let's check these DIs with actual tones. Okay, and back here I basically just didn't play anything so I can get a profile on the noise. So let's listen to how that differs. Okay, and that's that. I think we have some pretty interesting results here. So, first of all, let me explain a little bit about my recording setup. I used my Ibanez 7 string. I'm sorry, I just cannot remember the exact title of that guitar because it's so cryptic. It has DiMarzio Fusion Edge pickups in them, which are okay enough. They are pretty fine, very crunchy sounding in themselves, so take that into account. Then I use a 3 meter long high quality guitar cable. It's very good insulated. And between the iBox and the interface I use a short 1 meter long XLR cable, which is also good enough quality. Just to be clear here, I'm not messing around with different cables and different setups. So this is really all those DIs were recorded with as much the same stuff as possible, just different input devices really. So right off the bat, we noticed going straight into the interface does not sound any good. There's this weird harshness in the 2 to 3K range. It almost sounds like someone put a wah all the way up and just left it there. And then the top end is very much rolled off and not very brilliant, not very defined, and the low end is also kind of mushy. So that's not a very good option. Also back here you can see it's clipping just constantly at minus 6 dB. I have no idea why it's doing that. It's just not giving us more headroom. It's just clipping right there. And therefore I can't actually set the input level and the DI loud enough. This is pretty much a bummer. And also the noise level is extremely high and very nasty. I don't know what's going on there. But then again, let's be fair, this is the first generation. I don't know myself how old that actually is, when it came out. And so I also don't know how the second generation holds up. It could be it's a lot better than this. So yeah, don't let this hold you back from buying a second generation Scarlett interface. Then the second thing we noticed, the switch between going straight into the interface and using a DI box is drastic. A DI box really ups the quality. It's a world of a difference. So if you are stuck with an older interface, then by all means, please get a DI box. It's so worth it. It will really increase the quality of your recordings. I can only highly recommend it. Now the thing here about the pad, this is kind of interesting. I also experimented with that quite a bit. Right now, for this one, I use the pad on the interface. But sadly, doing that lets us clip at minus 60 dB again, for whatever reason. I don't know why. When I turn off that pad, but instead turn on the pad on the DI box, then we don't clip. But the drawback is we get a lot more noise, and the sound is the DI is just the slightest bit more smeared. There's the slightest bit of fog in the lower range, and the top range is the slightest bit more rolled off. It's a very minute difference, but it's there. And definitely the higher noise floor is to be avoided. So in my opinion, just taking the clipping for heavy rhythm parts is the lesser evil, if you want to put it like that. Now for me personally, the big surprise is really comparing the DI box to the Pod HD Pro. The Pod has a lot more low-end response and is also brighter and has more going on in the upper mid-range. To me personally, the Pod sounds better, especially because of the richer low end. I quite like how it gives the rhythm tone more girth and the clean tone more richness. Also, the more excited upper mid range and treble range gives us more pick attack, which I'm very much into, and also for clean tones it sounds more sparkly. On the other hand, it could also be the Pod is not supposed to do that, exciting that upper mid range, because I always noticed in my older Pod tones, also that's upper mid range always sounded kind of nasty. I always had to EQ that out, 2 to 3K, especially around 3K. But here working with TH3 now, for me personally, I quite like that. Also the noise floor is lower than with the DI box, which is another plus. So for me personally, I will most likely stick with the Pod HD Pro to record my DIs, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the DI box yet. Alright, and with this I hope I could answer your question if you should get a DI box or not. Now the question which DI box you should get, just check the forums really. They are packed full of such discussions. What I used here now, the Radial Pro 48, I think is doing a very good job. If I didn't have the Pod HD Pro, then I would definitely stick with it. It's miles better than going straight into the interface. Alright, and that's it for this video. Please give it a like if you liked it, and also leave a comment below, share your thoughts on what you heard here, and please subscribe and stay tuned for more, and I will see you next time.